nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Saturday, 30 December, will be the date that we will officially pass the budget of 2024.
National Assembly set to pass 2024 budget amidst high expectations.
The Inspector General subsequently ignored the Police Service Commission's recommendations.
And lawmakers task Inspector General of Police on promotion recommendations for police personnel. Welcome to this episode of House Ticket and compliments of the season. I am Zulaihat Belagubir, standing in for your regular anchor. Our program has a lineup of bills, motions, and consideration of reports. This is even as the House slates 30th December 2023 as the date to pass the 2024 budget. Highlight of these motions considered in the week under review include the need to investigate different intervention programs for out-of-school children from 2016 to date. And from the committee rooms, ministries, departments, and agencies have continued defending their respective 2024 budgets. Reports from these meetings complete our package of House Ticket for the week. To stay tuned.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Welcome back and thanks for being there. In the week under review, the House considered a number of bills and motions during plenary, taking far-reaching resolutions on the issues under discourse. Infrastructural motions, a call for the valuation of public assets in Nigeria, and the need to investigate funds disbursed for interventions programs for out-of-school children from 2016 to date topped the list of motions considered by the 10th House last week. Let's get a review of these deliberations in this first report compiled and presented from our studio. Keep watching.
The Green Chamber resumed plenary on Tuesday, the 19th of December 2023, after a recess it embarked on the 1st of December 2023.
Appropriation Committee Office.
While welcoming lawmakers back to plenary, the Speaker announced that Saturday, the 30th of December, has been slated for the passage of the 2024 budget.
The official laying and passage of the budget will be slated for Saturday, 30 December 2023. In between these two dates, all other activities like harmonization and compilation and processing of the bill will take place. So please take note. Those of you who may want to go for Christmas, try to take note that Saturday, 30 December, will be the date that we will officially pass the budget of 2024.
Following this announcement, lawmakers proceeded with other business of that legislative week. One major assignment was the consideration and passage of a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2023 to extend the implementation year from 31st December 2023 to 31st March 2024 and for related matters. The House also considered a bill for an act to amend the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2023 to extend the implementation year from December 2023 to 31st March 2024 and for related matters.
Leader, you are invited to give the synopsis of the bill.
The goal is to ensure that recent releases to MDAs may not be able to complete their assignments by the end of this year, and those projects that have been funded are not in the 2024 appropriation. So it is important to give them a little more time to complete the implementation to ensure accountability and service delivery. So it is essentially to move 31st December 2023 to 31st March 2024.
Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, explanatory memorandum, long title.
Both bills, similar in nature and intent, were considered by the Committee of Supply and eventually passed. 3 other bills were considered for third reading in the week under review.
A bill for an act to repeal the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act Cap 7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Bill 2023 to grant the Commission enforcement powers in the monitoring of accruals and disbursement of revenue from the Federation account, and to bring the Act in conformity with the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of 1999, and for related matters, HBs 471 and 581 be read a third time.
The other bill is a bill for an act to amend the Armed Forces Act Cap A20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to foster collaboration between the armed forces and other security agencies in provision of national security and establishment Armed Forces Human Rights Unit to provide a reporting channel for civilians whose human rights are violated by members of the armed forces and for related matters. Similarly, 2 bills skilled through second reading. First is Bill for an Act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture, Misau, Bauchi State, and for related matters. It stands in the name of Representative Aliu Bappa.
Colleges of agriculture can help to boost agricultural productivity by conducting research on one or new improved agricultural technologies and by training farmers on how to use these technologies. Mr. Speaker, creating of more colleges of agriculture will help in creating jobs for the young people. The agricultural sector has a potential of creating millions of jobs for the young people. Establishing more colleges of agriculture will help to ensure that there is a pool of skilled agricultural workers to meet the need for the sector.
The bill was passed and referred to the House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions for further legislative action. The other bill that passed second reading is a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Agriculture and Vocational Studies, Akonike, Enugu State, and for related matters. It was sponsored by Representative Paul Sunday Nnamchi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the essence of this bill is to provide a highly specialized institution that will disseminate knowledge related to the development of sustainable agriculture, technology, applied vocational and allied field of study.
The bill was referred to the House Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions for further legislative action after its skilled second reading. In addition to this, 10 bills were read for the first time last week.
Chartered Institute of Public Health Studies and Administration Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Universities Commission Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading. Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading.
In the course of the week, Wednesday 20th December 2023 to be precise, lawmakers recommitted 18 bills to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. The bills are from the preceding assembly. The motion to this effect was moved by Representative Francis Wiving. Among the bills are
Joint Admission and Matriculations Board Establishment Bill 2023, Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2023, National Rice Production, Processing and Research Institute Igbemo Ekiti State Establishment Bill 2023, Southeast Development Commission Establishment Bill 2023, Federal Medical Centers Act Amendment Bill 2023.
The House knows that pursuant to Order 12/16 of the Standing Orders of the House, bills passed by the preceding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made or navigated or passed by the Senate and forwarded to the House, for which no concurrence was made or negated, or which was passed by the National Assembly and forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the Assembly, the House may resolve that such bill, upon being regazetted and clean copies circulated, be reconsidered in the Committee of the Whole without being commenced de novo.
Moving on to motions, the House adopted far-reaching resolutions when it considered several issues in various motions brought before it. Representative Kingsley Chinda moved a motion titled Call to Implement Recommendations of the Police Service Commission.
The House observes that earlier in 2023, the Police Service Commission, in the exercise of its statutory responsibilities at one of its meetings, approved the promotion of several police officers, a notice of which was duly conveyed to the Inspector General of Police to release signal and accordingly affect the decision of this commission. The House is cognizant of the fact that the Inspector General subsequently ignored the Police Service Commission's recommendations and neglected or refused to effect the release, despite measures taken by the Commission for him to do so. The House is concerned that the IGP's refusal to act on the PSC's recommendation is not in the best interest of the men and officers of the Nigerian police force and the country at large.
The House, after consideration, resolved to urge the Inspector General of Police to immediately implement the recommendation of the Police Service Commission with respect to the promotion of the concerned men and officers of the Nigerian police force, and mandate the Committees on Police Affairs and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
This motion is presented by...
Another motion considered by the House and which stood in the name of the House Leader is the need to investigate gaps and loss of opportunities in the maritime sector.
Nigeria's seaports barely receive 10% of the total cargo destined for the ports. Of 60%, only 10% gets here. Others are diverted to neighboring countries. It's concerned that most ships bringing goods to Nigeria prefer to go to other ports other than Nigerian ports, and indeed Benin Republic benefits from Nigerian markets, while Cotonou remains a popular importer's haven. Huge trade cargoes are lost to Togo and other neighboring countries, from where they are offloaded and transshipped to Nigeria due to poor shipping connectivity and shallow drafts of the port channels, which lead to trade cargo losses estimated at 250 billion naira in 2016.
In this resolution, the House mandated the Committees on Port and Harbors, National Planning and Economic Development, Maritime Safety Education and Administration, and Nigerian Shippers Council to investigate the gaps affecting the full realization of the economic advantage of ports and harbors and other areas in the blue economy in Nigeria.
The issue of out-of-school children in Nigeria remains persistent.
On his part, Representative Tijani Ismail Kayode moved a motion on the need to investigate funds disbursed for the alternate school program, better education service delivery for all, at-risk children program and interventions program for out-of-school children from 2016 to date.
In 2021, the federal government introduced the At-Risk Children Program, ARCP, requiring hundreds of billions for Nigeria in expenditure. Regret that despite the federal government effort and the release of funds for the execution of the program, the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria continue increasing. Worried that the misuse of the alternative school program fund to reduce out-of-school children in Nigeria negatively impacted this scheme, leaving many children unschooled.
The House, after deliberation, resolved to mandate the Committee on Alternate Education to investigate the disbursement of funds meant to reduce the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria through the Alternate School Program ASP, Better Education Service Delivery for All BESDA, and At-Risk Children Program ARCP, particularly the roles of the MDAs concerned, and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
Reduce the risks associated with exchange rate.
Representative Jafaru Gambo's motion on need to adopt Chinese yuan currency to mitigate the impact of the naira's depreciation was voted on and adopted.
The Chinese yuan, which is gaining recognition in international trade, cognizant that adopting the China yuan as an additional foreign exchange reserve currency might mitigate the adverse effect of naira depreciation, reduce the risks associated with exchange rate fluctuation, and enhance Nigerian economic stability.
If you look at the volume of trade we have with China, it's reasonable, and we will strengthen our currency and we will diversify our foreign reserve policy. So I think it's a good motion. It's in the right direction in trying to diversify our foreign reserve policy.
I appreciate the concern of my colleague for the condition of the naira. But simple economics tells us the way to strengthen your currency is to expand your productive and industrial base, create jobs for your people, improve on infrastructure, not adopting the foreign currencies of other countries. But information is that the yuan is already adopted by Nigeria as one of the convertible currencies.
As a resolution, the House mandated the Committees on Banking Regulations, Banking and other ancillary institutions to liaise with the Central Bank of Nigeria to explore the appropriate mechanism, policies and partnerships required for the adoption of the Chinese yuan. Other motions voted on and adopted during the week under review are: need to construct coastal road to connect communities in Ndokwa Okwani Federal Constituency sponsored by Representative Nnamdi Ezechi; need to rescue Ifon, Okelushe, Ireakari, Ehinogbe, Iloro, Ijebu and Ikpele communities of Oshe and Owo local government areas of Ondo State from persistent and recurrent. It was moved by Representative Timehin Adelegbe. There was also a motion by Representative Esosa Iyawe on the need for valuation of public assets in Nigeria to ensure accountability in the management of government assets.
Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The House also voted and adopted the following motions: need to release palliatives and sundry support for dry season farming in the North Central Zone. It stands in the name of Representative Ahmed Adamu Saba. Need to reconstruct Gombe-Biu Road with the dualization of Gombe to Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park in Dadunkowa, Yamaltu Debba Federal Constituency, Gombe State. It was sponsored by Representative Inua Garba.
I'm worried, and the House is worried, that the poor state of Gombe-Biu Road has sufficiently negatively impacted on the socio-economic activities of the communities among its corridors, particularly in transporting farm produce and services, leading to the decline in the income and livelihood of the resident.
The three clauses we made part of this bill. Clause 1.
Meanwhile, several reports were considered by the House during the week. One such report is from the Committee on Public Service Matters on a bill for an act to make provisions for the retirement age for staff of National Assembly service and for related matters.
Clause 2, Clause 3, Clause 4.
Thanks for staying tuned to House Ticket. Various joint committees of the National Assembly have continued scrutinizing budgets being presented by ministries, departments and agencies. The Joint Committee on Petroleum Resources hosted the Ministers of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken, Lokpobiri, and that of Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperikwe, Ekpo. In another session, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, appeared to defend the budget of his ministry. Stay with us as we highlight some of the discussions that took place in these sessions. Keep watching.
Allocation of resources for the advancement.
With the date for the passage of 2022 budget scheduled for Saturday, the 30th of December 2023, ministries, departments and agencies have continued to defend their respective budgets.
1.9 billion inclusive of personnel.
Appearing before the Joint Committee on Petroleum Resources were Ministers of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokpobri, and that of Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperikwe, Ekpo. Chairman of the Joint Committee, Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe, opened the session.
It's our duty as a joint committee to ensure the effective allocation of resources for the advancement of our nation's petroleum sector. Our oversight function is predicated on fostering transparency, efficiency, and sustainable development within the ministry, NMPCL, and its subsidiaries. I urge all stakeholders to engage in open dialogue and provide insightful inputs that will contribute to the formulation of a budget that aligns with our national priorities.
The Petroleum Ministry highlighted the performance of its 2023 budget while also defending the proposals for 2024.
Under personnel, we have 1,062,528,852 naira. Overhead costs, 3,180,645,960 naira.
If you have issues,
Following deliberations and questions ensued on the content of the budget and other related matters.
the duo of you are former senators, and I assume you are still senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you have issues to do with some of your funding profile that you want this institution to intervene, you are quite free to make such presentation. You don't have to necessarily be tied down to an envelope. Even the presidential presentation of the budget 2024 was only an estimate, proposals.
It is often said that government has no business in doing business. But realities of the moment dictate the fact that government has more business triggering business for the economy to grow. There is an opportunity in the Petroleum Industry Act that encourages the Ministry of Petroleum to go into serious business to rake in money for the Federation.
Still on budget defense, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, and his entourage appeared for the ministry's budget defense.
I wish to state that 3 of the agencies under the ministry, namely NPA, NIMASA, and NSC, are fully self-funding and make reasonable remittances to the Consolidated Revenue Fund, while National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, and Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria derive their funding from both the FGM budget and Internet Generated Revenue.
It is also important that we begin to pay attention to the innovations by both NIMASA and the Nigerian Port Authority.
The act establishing NPA, NIWA, NSC, and NIMASA, I glanced through it. It's only the Ministry of Water Resources that was captured there. Ministry of Transportation, only Ministry of Transportation. So I'm thinking, Mr. Honorable Minister, do you think can we amend this act before considering this budget so that we will make sure we are not operating illegally? Because the act only talked about Ministry of Transportation. There is nothing Ministry of Marine, Transport or Economy.
The ministry has been established by you, by the president, and it must be alive. So whatever that you need to do to ensure the sustainability of the ministry is something that we will appreciate you to do.
The National Assembly is expected to pass the budget 2024 during a special sitting on Saturday, the 30th of December, 2023.
This is where we draw the curtains on this episode of House Ticket, the last for the year 2023. Thank you for staying with us from January through to December of this memorable year. Compliments of the season and a Happy New Year in advance.